The fat acceptance movement started in 1967 when Steve Post, a 23-year-old man, held a fat in Central Park. Another 26-year-old man said that obesity was good for peace, and if everyone is fat, there would be no war. No one could pass the physical.
So, in the comments under this video, people who are saying, weirdly, that's actually the only good argument I've ever heard for fat acceptance. It only seems like the best argument because it's the one that's the newest that you've heard and you haven't ever thought it through before. When you do think it through, it's really dumb. Why not pick any other disease? Why not pick any other thing that ruins your quality of life and health of the whole population? Why does it have to be obesity, which isn't even going to equally affect everyone? Some countries, as has happened, will be more obese than others and they will have a massive disadvantage, okay? And it will then incentivize everyone to just, if you want to start a war, all you have to do is make sure your country is the least fat. China might be doing that with TikTok, having TikTok spread fat acceptance without any censorship and then banning anything telling you to be healthy on TikTok, but allowing fat acceptance stuff to go free, for example, when their own population isn't allowed TikTok. It's for countries in the West that they don't like. They will get to use TikTok and be told that it's great to be fat. Even if it's not strategic, even if that's not a thing TikTok is doing to fatten up the West, in effect, that is what's happening. China is not as fat as the United States, and the United States has a military that has expressed concern in the last, I think, 10 years, not that long ago, that the obesity crisis is one of the major reasons they don't have many fit, healthy people for a first world country to join a war if needed. The other reason it's so stupid is, what about all the other things it affects? Is it really worth it to have everyone unable to also be a police officer? Won't be a very good one anyway. You won't be able to run and catch anyone. A firefighter. How are you going to climb buildings and rescue people? How are you going to escape from burning buildings as you're in them if everyone is fat? Really think about the implications of everyone being obese. So everyone is not living as long, everyone is getting dementia earlier, everyone's brain is aging along with every other part of the body. We're all going to be less healthy, we're all going to have less good quality of life, all just so that we are too fat to have a war. In the 60s, that seemed plausible. We will just make robots fight our wars, and that will be worse. It's just going to be a robot coming to kill you that feels no pain and that you can't kill. So it'll be like WALL-E, but like a war version of WALL-E. At least WALL-E's ship was at peacetime, right? And even that looks a bit dystopian. We would find other ways to go to war. It just means that everything else in life would be rubbish. My town used to get bombed in World War II. If I get bombed, I want to be able to easily run downstairs and get into a bomb shelter. I want to be easily able to fit in a bomb shelter if we have to make new ones. I don't, I want to be at the most healthy I can so that I don't pass out easily from smoke inhalation if there's a... And if I need to rescue someone, I want to know that I can run in and get someone out who's elderly or disabled or something. And it would help if they're not obese. If they're obese, I probably can't help them. And 5 people might need to lift some people and then injure themselves. It's just better. Everyone's going to survive a war better if you're not obese. And if you're the attacker, you also benefit. So it's actually not there isn't any side that benefits from being obese. Protest, you've got to protest in the street and risk being, best case scenario, say it's just water cannons and stuff. The more obese you are, the more difficult that is, the more dangerous that is for you. A situation where you're having to protest a war, some of these people, the fat acceptance people, literally really struggle to walk, okay, in all seriousness. And if you're getting, say snipers are firing at you, you're a bigger target and you're a slow-moving large target. What good is it to be obese? Whatever side you're on, you should want your own side to be healthy. And the only reason not to is a mental illness or maybe just not, passively absorbing this because you agree with that person on other things and you're young and naive maybe. I think a lot of people get into this and that's the reason. It's just that simple. They just haven't really thought it through yet and haven't been exposed to other arguments yet, and a lot of them do get out of it, like Angelica Unfiltered did, for example. This is Michelle from the sitcom Allo Allo.
Now listen very carefully. I shall say this only once.
It's a comedy, but it was based in World War II, okay? I want to be like Michelle. If you've ever watched that sitcom, I Want to Be a Hero Like Michelle, okay? And I'm not saying a fat person can't be a hero, but you're making it more difficult for yourself. You're making yourself less efficient, less strong, less resilient physically, and even mentally too. It affects the brain, it affects your performance mentally and your emotions, including amyloid proteins that can cause dementia are released by excess fat, and that partly explains the dementia link to obesity. You benefit from being healthy personally and as a group. Every single one of you benefit from, having firefighters who are fit, having marine biologists who can actually dive, having pilots who are fit to fly. There's a weight limit on pilots, especially commercial pilots, but even the little ones, how are you going to fit in the tiny little plane, Like, there are limits on how big pilots can be. Imagine everyone being obese and how that would ruin so many things that we take for granted. Rescue workers, paramedics, and people who go and rescue you in the mountain. It's not just soldiers. It's not just we can't have any more soldiers. There are lots of jobs that won't be possible anymore. How are people going to be construction site workers? Everyone is obese. Don't you see how that's going to have a negative effect on everything that will not be worth, we can't go to war anymore? I know that fat acceptance has seriously used, like, they've gotten towards this argument before. Most countries have always wanted their populations to be fit and healthy. Everything you do is easier. You have more energy, you get better sleep, you have more energy, your mood is better in a direct way and for indirect reasons when you are at peak health and good nutrition versus under or overweight versus not having all the right nutrients in the right balance. But if everyone is obese, everyone, you need healthy weight people. Healthy weight people disproportionately pull our weight. Like, you are able to do more things. You often are the people running around looking after the obese people in nursing homes. The people who have eaten themselves to the point where they are completely disabled are having to be waited on by people who haven't eaten themselves to that point. It's a little bit unfair, right? I'm not saying we shouldn't do it, but that is the reality. It's kind of an unfair thing to do to society, to eat yourself to the point where you now rely on all the people who have not done that. Have to run in the building and try and have 5 of them lift you up, and they probably injure themselves trying to rescue you when you have fallen over, or you're stuck in the doorway because you're so obese, or you collapsed from smoke inhalation trying to get out of a burning building. And if bombs are dropping on you in a war, do you want to be obese? Do you think that helps you in a war? No, it makes it even worse.